Tune in. This week in car audio. Tune in. What we talking about? Bass. Talking about chips. Talking about rings. You ain't got them. Zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found. Check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in. This week in car.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by the superstar, internet sensation, movie star, Mr. Jeffrey Fernandez. How's it going, Jeff?
It's going good. How you doing, Doug?
Pretty good. I'm going to start sharing this, sharing the feed. Why don't you talk about your show this weekend?
Okay. As you know, we had a show here at Crossfire Car Audio in Grapevine, Texas. If you guys really like the format of Top Dog, there was some really good action in Top Dog this past Sunday, yesterday. There was something that I never seen before, or haven't been a witness to in a Top Dog run, which is a hole shot. Mm-hmm. So what a hole shot is, you know, at the first 10 seconds of the run, it's going to determine what your target SPL is. And if you hit a 9.9 at the end of that, at the 10-second mark, you get 2,000 bonus points and what they call a hole shot. Now, I've heard about it. I've never seen it done. I don't even think at finals it's happened. But during one of the runs yesterday, at the end of 10 seconds, I heard hole shot bonus points, 2,000. I'm like, what? I've never heard of that before. But I saw that happen. We've seen a bunch of 10-second time extensions, probably the most I've ever seen at one of these shows. And we all know the 10-second time extension is at the end of regulation time.
Right.
You guys both tie. Now, it doesn't have to be 9.9. It could be like 9.8 or 9.7. But if both competitors tie, they get 10 seconds of bonus time. And then if they tie after that, they get 10 more seconds. This happened like maybe 3 or 4 times in one run. And we were like, wow, you know, couldn't believe this was happening. But hey, it's just that, you know, these guys here,
they're getting
Top
better.
Dog, they're getting better. Exactly. They're making each other better as well. And not only that, what Roger actually put in some bonus money for Top Dog as well.
Bonus money this time, huh?
we all know he do it for base race. You know, if he sees like good base race action, he'd kick down $100 to the winner.
Right.
Well, he was like, man, I'm loving this Top Dog stuff. Hey, I'm gonna kick down $100 to the winner of Top Dog too. So, you know, it happened, and believe it or not, the same guy that won 20s class of base race, Lewis TVC, he also won Top Dog. So he ended up walking away from yesterday's event with $200.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's heating up. It's heating up base race, and especially Top Dog. Top Dog.
That's awesome. Real quick, want to thank our sponsors for today's event venue, Crossfire Car Audio, Punts Customs. We appreciate them. That helps us cover some of the cost it takes to put on this show, some of our time. You know, some of you may know, I wasn't sure I was going to make it today. I literally just got in the door about 10 minutes ago, had a funeral for my sister-in-law, a young lady, you know, 44 years old, passed away suddenly. But, you know, I'm back out here. We're doing our thing. My wife's still back in Reno with my kids, are all there with her and supporting her. It was her sister that passed. So, you know, thoughts and prayers to them, obviously. All right. So, before we get going on these judging questions, if you guys have any questions for the judges, all you got to do is pop them up in the chat, either on the YouTube side or the Facebook side. Doesn't matter, either one to me. And we will start answering your questions. So, if you guys have any questions, please pop them up. Oh, wait, hold on. What did this say here? How come that didn't show? I see it on here. Ed and Rich is showing where my video is just Oh, that's something else. All right. Oh, there we go. What's up, guys? Okay, so I see Facebook popping in. I don't see anybody on the YouTube side, which is fine. Nothing to see here. We popped out the chat. So let me go like this, and let me pop out the chat real quick. So for you guys that don't know, well, I'm sure most of you guys know who Moses Martinez is. But Moses put up for a 3X event coming up in California, right there at Jay's Alarms on a Friday night. That will be on the 24th, so that'll be March 24th. We'll be throwing a 3X event Friday night. So that is up and on the calendar right now, just like Jeffrey's show. Looks like you're heading down to Southern Cal. When's that Southern Cal event?
Saturday, April 1st.
April 1st. And then
Yes.
April 9th, we're going to be doing the wedding show up in Sacramento. So I'm going to be renewing one of our competitors' vows. We're going to be taking care of that. So that's all good.
I think that's like a first, right? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, we haven't had a wedding, but I've had a couple of proposals.
Proposals, yes. I was
World
there
Finals.
for one
You
of
were
them.
there for the you were there for World Finals. Yeah, 324 Friday night. Come on down to Jay's Alarms. Porfa. So
Por favor.
Poor flavor, as us white folks say. So anyway, so we got that going on. What do you got going on, Wyatte? Wyatte, our guest judge here today, to come talk with us about some of our judging questions. You know, you guys can meet some of the judges and have some talks with them. What do you got going on, Wyatte?
Yeah, so unfortunately here we just got dumped on with another 10 inches of snow. So
That's it?
no. Yeah, I heard California got buried. Some place in California got like multiple feet.
We did. We got
yeah.
multiple feet up on the hill. It took me 5 hours to get home today, and it's only like 204 miles. So,
Jeez.
yeah, I was going the 20-mile-an-hour range coming over the hill for quite a few of those miles. So.
Yeah, so nothing quite like that, but it's still pretty cold here. So a lot of our venues and stuff aren't available until a little bit later. Right now, we're trying to line up some dates for the first show of the year, which is Frost Off. And right now, that's going to be the first, and then kind of filling behind that. Right now, the only one that's actually confirmed on the Turn Pro calendar is one in July. That's kind of, we used to do DVs for diabetes. This one's kind of taking the place of that one. So we like to get that one on the calendar as early as possible. So that's kind of the one that is out there now. We're kind of starting to promote that and let people know what's going on. Hopefully a good turnout. Hopefully the weather's good. We got pretty lucky last year. I think we only had one show where we kind of rainy, crappy weather. So hopefully this year, good weather.
Okay. So another thing we got going on, us guys in California and Texas here, we're at an advantage over you guys. I mean, Jeffrey's already had like 5 multi-point events already.
Serious, yeah.
So
Just blessed.
Yeah,
was it Dan Harder was talking about? Man, I can't even get the trailer out of the garage till May or something.
Yeah. So we got Autorama coming up too. That's a 5X weekend. That's a 2X on Saturday and a 3X on Sunday. So that's coming up pretty soon too. That's going to be April 29th and 30th. So pay attention to that. Like I said, if you guys are looking for points, come on out and try that. I know Ray's going to be driving down from Canada to come, and we're going to have his son out there. Well, what's the name of their car? I forgot the name of that. Jimbo. Yep. So Jimbo's going to drive down and compete at Autorama, get some points down there.
Cool.
But yeah, hey, pay attention. DB Drag, Wayne Harris and Celise Harris are talking about making some announcements about World Finals. So some pretty cool stuff that you guys just look forward to it. We're privy to it, but we can't make any final announcements yet. But this will excite everybody in many places, all over the place. World Finals is a big deal, right? Our last giveaway, we got the guy Lewis versus Jimbo. Lewis who? Yeah, tell me which Lewis. I don't know which Lewis you're talking about. Do you know which Lewis?
Rosa said that Lewis versus the
Yeah.
state. What do you mean by that?
Versus what?
It says here Lewis versus the state authorities.
Oh,
I'm not
Luis
sure
out
what
about maybe he. I don't see that on my comments. Is
No,
that on YouTube side?
no, it's on Facebook.
Oh, maybe it hasn't popped up on my Facebook yet. My Facebook might be a couple more
Oh
minutes
wait, you know
behind.
what? It says it's funny. Okay, it says automatically translated. So I think Facebook translated it. Let me see
Oh,
what it was. I think I just click onto it and
she
it'll
said
tell
she
me.
said Jeffrey knows Luis TVC.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that
Lewis.
is that the guy out of Mexico or?
No, he's actually out of Texas. He was the guy who won $100 in base race and $100 in Top Dog just
Oh, at
yesterday.
your show.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that
He was
Luis.
a finalist at last finals, but that was his first world finals, so he kind of got a little bit of nerves. I think, but
Gotcha.
I think he made it past the first round, and he ended up beating a favorite. But he wasn't able to move on. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Lewis TVC.
Okay.
Team Voodoo Customs is
Oh,
what.
Voodoo Customs. That's right. I remember that name now. So Wyatt, any rules, or Jeffrey, you just did a show. Any
Yeah.
rules come up at the show that were in question, or that you may want to point out to a competitor that would be new to DB Drag?
Um, Not so much. I I wanted to talk about I guess an easy job for me is seeing something like wood on the roof
Uh
or
huh.
on the ceiling of a vehicle. That would be instant Super Street X. So
Right.
I don't want people to kind of be surprised when hey, I look on the roof and there's wood. I mean, we all know it's what it's for, but just know that it's something that I'll try to look at first because it'll make my job easier. I see wood there. Okay, Super Street X
Right.
for on the DB drag side. But as far as base race, I mean, it's simple, right? I
Mm-hmm.
wish the judging procedures were as easy as DB drag as it
And
is in base
Space Race and
race
Top Dog,
and
right?
Top Dog. Exactly. I wish we could just let everybody run what they want, right? But unfortunately, we can't. And rules are there to make it all a level playing field. And it's we say this every time we talk about rules. We're not out there to be like for lack of a better term, jerks about it. But we just want to be able to create a level playing field for everyone, from the novice, from the beginners, all the way to the veteran competitors. Just so it's I never would have thought that we would kind of look at the extreme rules so much, because it seemed like extreme was we would put a lot of people that we couldn't really categorize maybe into extreme, but then
Mm-hmm.
now we have to like look closely at extreme and make sure that they're indeed extreme. So yeah,
Right.
thanks to you guys for getting us on the ball and getting this nipped in the bud. So thanks
Yeah.
to all the
You,
competitors.
Jeff, have you had anyone fall into the Super Street OG 10K? Have you had anyone
uh
run that?
No, not yet. I think what's going to be hard is I know. Okay, so we know it's a 10K power limit, right? No floor cuts, a single windshield, and it's 60 hertz maximum. Which I think, you know, I think that might kind of hinder a lot of people,
Yep.
to play 60 and under. Shoot, I
Especially
know,
with the wall, right? I mean,
especially with the wall,
yeah.
or even the pandas, or
Mm-hmm.
they'll play the high 60s, maybe 70s.
Right.
So I haven't had to categorize anybody in the OG class yet, but
I have a feeling I'm going to end up with some people in the OG class just because I have a lot of
mhm.
daily drivers like Suburbans and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're going to want to play in that class because of the limit of the power. So that may work out for me. Wyatte, are there any rules that you think need to be touched on, or um, maybe just hit at real quick?
Not unless people have questions.
Okay.
To me, it's been a while since we've seen anything around the rules, so nothing's fresh in my brain. I was kind of just more curious as people are starting to do shows, in the areas where it's getting warm, if anything's coming up for you guys. Competitors are asking specific questions. That's why I was curious about the OG class. If anyone had fallen into that yet, I'll be curious to see as you guys keep doing shows here this spring if we're able to start pushing people into that. The base race, top dog, stuff like that with the tracks, right?
Uh-huh.
We know right now it's boom check. Have you guys just been giving people a USB with the tracks, or how have you guys been doing that for competitors?
So either they have their own USB, or yes, I've been giving them a USB is what I've been doing, and I believe Jeffrey does the same thing.
Yeah, there's actually a competitor here so I got two USBs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He swears he wants the same one every time because he thinks for some reason it's helping him out. It's a Smiley Watts. I don't know if he's watching. Maybe you can explain to us what the whole, method or whatever is behind that. But yeah, so I mean, I have it available. I think we should be able to have that available just in case the competitor needs it. I also have CDs available as well with the boom check on it. So
Okay.
yeah, it helps everyone, and again, it's everyone's kind of playing the same material.
So Chris Gregory here's asking me, hey Doug, when are y'all starting the 1X base race events? Well, I got a 3X, so I'm starting off the season. My next 3 shows is a 3X, a 2X, and a 3X. So, but following that, March, April, May. So I believe the first Friday in May, we are going to have our first 1X event, which will be at Jay's Alarms, I believe. He also has a question here, Chris Gregory, once again. If the competitor doesn't have it, I gave the tracks on my hard drive. No, you wouldn't do something like that because those are proprietary. So you would have them on a USB stick and then let them borrow your USB stick and then direct them to DB Drag where they can download them with their membership. Sound about right, Jeff?
Yeah, that's right. I think I saw somewhere on Facebook that someone had said, if you need boom check, bring your thumb drives.
Oh, there he is. Mr. $200 just popped in. Luis, TVC. Louis, just so you know, Rosa is calling you out.
Whoa.
She says you need to come out here for Autorama, which is April 29th and 30th. That's in Sacramento, California. You versus Jimbo, you versus the whole state of California, according to her.
Wow.
Smiley Watts, he's popped in there now. So,
so is Chris Gregory? He's wanting you to host.
Well,
kind of what he's doing at this just base race shows.
So I don't do just base race shows,
Okay.
but we do want to. Louis says she way too far. I would if I could.
Well, I'm not sure if everyone knows, but so base race, it goes by the person, right? Louis can easily,
fly
if he really
out
wanted
here.
to, fly out to California, maybe rent a car, something with a system in it, maybe even put a system when he touches down or something.
Rosa will let him borrow her car.
Exactly.
And she can do it.
Yes. Got that, Louis? So there's no excuses.
Yep. Tennessee is looking forward to facing California. As a matter of fact, I talked to Wayne Harris about that today, and he was actually working on the software part for us to link up and go head-to-head across the country with multiple locations and do our base race tournament that we were going to do, either top dog base race or the combination of the two. Smiley Watts says that sounds like a setup. And Rosa says absolutely she would let him borrow the car. And Luis says, I'll think about that. Ain't got long to think about it, Luis. April 29th and 30th, right here in Sacramento. Guarantee good times. Uh, there he goes. Alonzo Romero says, I will base race my 4.8s for that belt.
Oh yeah. So in
all right.
SoCal,
Yes.
last event I did, for the 20s class, everybody pitched in. I think it was like $20, and then the winner got the $20. Well, Alonzo, as a part of Gorilla Hertz, one of the sponsors of that event, he actually brought down like a WWE belt and said the winner gets this, and we were displaying it, in front of everybody. I think that's what he's talking about by the belt.
Oh, there you go.
A base race for for the belt.
Gregory says, hey, awesome. Hopefully Texas can come and play too. I guarantee your guys are down to do the multiple locations, and I know whenever Wyatt gets out of his frost, he'll be able to do it too. Jeffrey, or Smiley Watson here says, Jeffrey Fernandez, you need to sponsor us to go out there with a whole bunch of rolling happy faces.
Let me talk to my boss, and maybe he can make that happen.
And he's tagging people in the post, Shane, Chandler, and Chris says that we have a crown. Oh, they have a crown for the top guy, for top dog and base race or whatever. Which is cool. Hey, let's see what Rosa has to say here. Some money may or may not have been included with the belt, Alonzo.
If you go back to that show, you'll see pictures on Turn Pro on the results page, the results. There's pictures with the belt along with a whole bunch of $100 bills around it. So
really,
yes,
that's cool. So Wyatt, with the shows coming up, what are you hearing any information about the about from your guys about using the tracks that they have to use for top dog and base race again this year?
I've had a couple guys that play in a little bit higher frequencies, so the jump in the track affects them a little bit more. I've got one guy that wants to try to play around in 59, but in 49 he has a hard enough time just because of the jump, the way his system is tuned and everything with that, and it just affects him a lot more.
Well,
so I've had a couple guys that are like, I'd like something different or whatever. I've had a couple guys like,
I could show him how to overcome that jump. Just saying, it's not that
yeah
hard.
So maybe that's what it is, right? So I've had a couple guys mention that. But then the funny part is, like last year we had a guy named Joseph Newton, and he was fairly new. But he played, his system and everything was tuned really low, and he was playing in 29.9, and he was so consistent. I had to keep getting out and walking up to his car and putting my hand on his trunk in the side window and listening for that jump because it was just so consistent. He'd get right up to 29.9 and then pretty much hang right there. So he just he was a newer kid, and the way he had everything, configured and his testing and stuff, he just kind of started doing really well with it. So I've kind of seen both ends. I think it'd be great if we could, if not this year, for next year, for sure, work on getting maybe a few other options. Just some different stuff, right? Like, but I haven't heard a whole lot. A lot of my guys are rebuilding. We, since we do have only 4 or 5 months out of the year that you're really going to shows and, hanging out in parking lots and demoing and stuff. The whole winter, guys are tearing their stuff apart and doing major rebuilds and stuff like that. So I've heard quite a few guys that are doing that. A couple guys that are like, you know what, screw it, this year it's going to be a wood roof and I'm building a metal cage and doing stuff like that, more power and all kinds of stuff. So it'll be kind of interesting around here to see some of those guys.
So is that competitor you're talking about that's worried about his vehicle playing at such a high frequency, does he also do DB drag as well?
Yeah, he pretty much jumps into everything.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like Moses.
Like Moses. Because I'm sure I think that's where they they can't. They really want to comply to bass rates, but they can't because they're also built for for dB drag. So if they try to kind of tune their vehicles to play, those certain frequencies on boom check, then they kind of give up, their standings in a dB drag. So it almost sounds like, hey, maybe you can try to pick maybe one or the other, or but I know competitors at heart, they're not going to do that. So
Yeah.
I can see why, they're a little bit frustrated about that. But like you said, Wyatt, maybe we'll get into getting some more frequencies added to that boom check selection.
Smiley Watts asked, "Hey Doug Stockton, please share that tip for the jump." It's real simple. If you normally play, say, boom check 4, go up to boom check 5 and play that, because that frequency jump is going to be outside of your range if you change tracks. So you play a different track, and then the further you get away from your peak, the less that jump affects your overall score, if you look at it on an oscilloscope. So that really works well. It's just play a different track. It doesn't necessarily have to be the main track. What I like to do is, like I said, so if, say, your car peaks at 30 hertz, track boom check 2, your peak and the peak of that song would be pretty close to matching. It's like 32, 33 hertz. But if you go to boom check 3, the low end is 33, and then that jump up is like 36 hertz or 37 hertz. And when it jumps up there, it doesn't affect your score nowhere near as much as it did before. So that's how we do that. Chris Gregory says he has a few cars where you got to check to make sure they're still playing the song, and I absolutely have to do that. People may not notice it, but if you watch back some of my videos, you'll see me touching the cars and put my ear next to them and this and that, because ultimately we do want it to be fun, but we need it to be fair as judges also, right? Let's see. He meant low pass filter. That's what he's trying to help out Smiley here. DSP, just saying, if you're really worried about it. But anyway, yeah, so that's the one thing. Like I said, Wayne was working towards getting us our multiple locations thing set up so we can start doing some. Smiley Watts says, great tip, thanks. We can start doing some of these location specific ones. How many of those have you been part of, Jeff? I think you've done like 4 or 5 of those with me, haven't you? Uh-oh. Did we lose Jeff, or can you not hear me? Wyatt, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, we can't hear Jeff. Jeff, you muted yourself or something.
Oh, yeah, I
There
did. There's this button on the mic that turns
yeah.
red if I have to
Okay.
mute it.
So I think you've
yeah,
done
well-
4 with me, right? Or 5 of the
I
multiple
believe
locations?
so. Yeah, I think it was West Coast Finale was one of them. I think the first one we ever did was, man, it was years ago. I remember I think doing a show out near the desert, and so we communicated by phone, right? And
That's right.
I think I ended up plugging in my phone into the speakers, my PA
Yep.
speakers. So we were able to hear you. Everybody on my side was able to hear you at the same time. So I thought that was kind of cool. It
Right.
was as if you were there.
And then on my end, I actually put a separate TV out, and so they could see your broadcast, so they can see your people live while I'm doing my announcement. And I did, and the second one we did, I hooked up my because you had your live broadcast, I hooked that up to my speaker system also. So your live broadcast was across those speakers also. So yeah, so that was really cool. And that is one thing I would suggest to you guys. Is if we do end up doing these multi-venue things and you are part of it, Wyatt, bring out a separate TV altogether and set that out as one of the lanes and have that connected to your PA system and play back our live feed from those other locations. It does add a different flair to it. Only problem is the feed is usually delayed a couple of seconds, so that part sucks. But you still get to see their reaction to their loss or their win, and you talk about tribalism. I mean, it doesn't matter if that's your enemy team that's going up in the lanes, but if they're going against California or California's going against Texas or going against Tennessee base racers, we all stand together as Californians, and the Tennessee guys are going to all stand together as Tennessee guys, and they're going to root for their hometown guy to win, right? So, and I will say, ultimately, the goal of this multi-venue thing is to have multiple venues go, and then we just have like a stupid pot, like $1,500 for first or something like that. That's really what the ultimate goal is. I mean, do you see that happening, Jeff? Possibly.
Yeah, I see it happening. So I was taking a look at the calendar, the DB drag racing calendar, and I did notice a couple of the Tennessee events, and I was already trying to plan out some of my events to kind of match up with that. I think theirs is predominantly Saturdays, which I don't mind adding a Saturday, onto the calendar. But we've been doing Sundays lately. But if what we could do, if we could do the same thing as the Tennessee base racers do and just base race on that day, it shouldn't be a problem.
Luis says we need Texas, California, Tennessee to battle it out. Would be so much fun. And Chris Gregory says he's got a little more flexible time.
Oh, okay.
So, our times are pretty flexible here in California. I mean, we'll make whatever we need to happen. But I think this would be awesome once we do this. Luis says, yes, base race day. And we won't limit it to just base race. We're going to do base race and top dog. There's zero reason we can't do both at that event. So, as a judging staff, I did want to, speaking of judging stuff, I don't know if you saw or not, but Barbados, they did a test and tune. Tiffany and Tristan Paris decided, Smiley says base race or top dog, both, not just one, both.
Yeah.
And then Smiley goes, yes. Race and top dog definitely, says Chris Gregory. There you go. How else will we get pro status? By we, I mean me. So Rosa's going to take the torch from Moses and say, yeah, he ain't nobody. She's going to show him up in the lanes, I think. But anyway, in Bridgetown, Barbados last week, they did a like a clinic.
I saw pictures. Of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they posted some testimonials of guys that have never been in any part of it before or whatever. And that, my understanding, has turned out really awesome. So that brings me to another point. If there's nobody in your area, hey, there's somebody finally watching on YouTube. Manny. If there's nobody in your area that does DB drag or host events, talk to Wayne or somebody else, and let's see if we can't get some events out your way. Chris Gregory's doing it now. He's doing some events, and what's his name? Friend of the show, used to be on Team Incriminator.
You talking about in the East Coast area? Sorrentino?
No.
Oh, Alabama.
Yeah, he was the No Wall guy. No, not No Wall.
Oh, Rob Collar.
Rob Collar, yes.
Yes.
Rob Collar looks like he's going to be judging this year. So and stepping away from competing. So, I mean, there's another judge, and I'll tell you guys, the people that were competitors tend to make some of the best judges. Just because you know what to look for and you know how people try to get around the rules, and so that helps. Like I said, I talked to Wayne today. I'm pretty excited with some of the changes he's proposing. Doesn't mean they're going to happen, but we are definitely talking about some changes that he is proposing, and that will be awesome. Um, Wyatte, last time we were on here, we were talking about the sound deadening rule a little bit, and then, like I said, the base race tracks, they came up pretty strong. But the sound deadening rule, I think we've got a pretty good handle on that. How do you feel about your understanding of the sound deadening rule?
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to tune in last time that you guys kind of talked about it. I mean, obviously, we only have the one, in the rule book, the one strict requirement for OG 10K, right?
Right.
As far as for other vehicles, what did you guys kind of discuss, and how are you going to go about kind of judging that side of it?
So what we discussed is Sean and I are so excited about the show. Can't wait to see the flyer. Um, yeah, I got the wedding show coming up for Sean and Janet Kent. That's on April 9th. Oh, there you go. Rob Collar jumped in there. We were talking about you, Rob. Talking about you being a judge now, and how some of our best judges are ex-competitors. So that's kind of what we were talking about here. Anyway, so yeah, so essentially we're just gonna take a rod of some kind. You can heat it up or whatever, because almost all of those sound deadeners are butyl rubber, right? So you can poke it through till you hit something solid, measure it, see where we are at a random location, and make sure you do not exceed the maximum depth, right?
And Ray actually had one that he said he's used thousands of times. He actually showed it on the podcast.
Yep.
It's basic. I thought I had it here. It's basically like a.
It was an
kind of
all.
like a really in all exactly. He says he's used it in Europe. So basically, he just prods the area that he needs to kind of determine, and then he just pushes it in and till it stops, pulls it out, and just makes his measurement there.
And as Rob Collar says, for you guys that don't understand what an all is, it's an ice pick with a wooden handle, essentially.
That's it.
All right. Anybody else have any questions about rules and stuff? I mean, like I said, this is your opportunity. He says, Chris says, Rob Collar getting all Italian mob style.
What? Oh, with the ice pick.
The makeshift shiv. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is an opportunity for the competitors to ask us questions and help you guys come up with the correct way to build your cars. Smiley Watts is here. When you all get time, explain this whole shot thing, please. So I know you said what it was earlier, but can you explain it to the masses of what the actual whole shot is?
Smiley must have just logged on, because I mentioned it in the beginning. So essentially, and it was actually Smiley who did the whole shot. And there's a video on the Boom and Audio Competition's Facebook page. One of the Team Voodoo guys took a video, and it was actually when Smiley did the whole shot. So essentially, Smiley, you have the first 10 seconds to basically determine what your target SPL is going to be, right? So you have 10 seconds. At the end of that 10 seconds, if you're at a 9.9, you'll get what is called a whole shot. And as you saw in the video, I like to use the and I know sometimes you don't like to use the voice or what is it called, voice something, but it actually said whole shot bonus points 2,000 bonus points. And that's something.
Oh, is that what it was? Was 2,000? I thought it was 1,000. Okay, so essentially, when you guys hit 20 seconds, when there's 20 seconds remaining in the run, so the first 10 seconds has expired. On that 20 seconds, if you are in exactly 9.9, you get a bonus 2,000 points.
Yeah.
So that's what a whole shot is. If you're trying to make up some class or some points, That's one good way to do it. So Rob Collar asked really quick, can we talk about some SSOG class? Sure, Rob. What are your questions? What do you want to talk about on there? Let's talk about that. Just shoot out there what you want. I know Sparked Ed, our guest last week, he has a couple of questions. He said he has about trunks. That's when me and Smiley went against each other. LOL. Luis. Yeah. So Smiley got him for a couple of 1,000 points right off the bat, huh? Hey, but so here's the deal. So say Smiley got that 2,000 points, but if you tied and then beat him, Luis, then you got those you got half of those 2,000 points from him, right?
There was a lot of that happened too.
Yesterday. Your points are gone. They be gone.
Once you're in that 10-second time extension.
Yep.
You know, you're going to plan for sure. Somebody's going to be missing half of their points. So
okay,
that's the fun part.
Spark to Ed's question. I have a 94 Olds Cutlass, no fold down seats. Can I modify the back of the seat to A, fold down, B, be more acoustically transparent, i.e. cutting the metal brace between the fabric and lighter metals? Who wants to hit this one? This is an easy one. You want to hit it, Wyatt?
What class do you want to be in?
Okay, so
exactly.
that's a good question. So what class? So okay, so let's just say he did A, which is fold down the back seat. What class would he be put into?
Lowest I would put him in would be wall 5K at that point if I can clamp you. If you've modified the back seat, you've modified something up to that B pillar, so that pretty much kicks you in any class that the restriction is B pillar forward modification is prohibited. So like a lot of the guys around me that kind of do that, I try to push them to the wall 5K. If they've already done it, they can't put it back. I have a guy with what is it, a Cadillac? And I think it was the very center folded down and open, but he needed it to be bigger for his port. So what he did, and he did a really good job with it, right? Took the original folding arm out and then made a, port and butted it up. And now that folding arm cannot fold back into place. He thought he'd stay in trunk. Fortunately, he can't stay in trunk. So obviously he's not super happy about having to be bumped. So yeah, unfortunately in that situation, not a whole lot you can do since you don't have a factory hole already. Exactly, yeah. Same thing with the deck. Like if you cut any holes in the deck to port up through that, that's going to throw you into the same situation.
Or potentially super street no wall, right? So if we're going to clamp power and you have less than 5,000 watts, that would be your class. Then you could be super street. It could be either no wall, or you could be super street how many subwoofers you have, right? And depending upon modifications in front of the B pillar, you may even be able to go to extreme. Sound about right?
Yeah. So I mean, if it doesn't come factory, like Wyatte was saying, there's a hole. If it doesn't come factory like that, then we can't. And you physically cut a hole, or if you put hinges on a seat that doesn't fold forward, you're in essence modifying that part of the vehicle. And the good thing is it doesn't disqualify you, where a lot of people, when you mention that, they get all offended. I'm like, oh, I want to compete, and it's like no. You just won't be able to be in the pro stock class. Everything has to pretty much be stock. So I mean, luckily, we have other classes that we can put you in, stuff like that. So
okay, so his or C, can I find a similar car in a junkyard with a fold down seat and replace my seat with that? One of you guys want to hit on that?
Well, I think, is there going to be, are there hinges? There's got to be some kind of hinge system.
Here's the thing, is his car may not have came with the fold down seats, but it was something they offered in the car. So this actually gets to why we're even doing this forum, right? Mm-hmm. So they did offer in his car that they did have fold down seats. So if we went to the junkyard, found a 94 Olds Cutlass Supreme that the seats did fold down in and replaced with those back seats, would that be okay?
I think we would probably haven't even we wouldn't even have known if he just came with those seats.
That's correct.
So I mean,
here's where we have the issue with where the judges are now, right? The onus is on the competitor to show us that it was a factory option for that vehicle, and that most of the vehicles sold had that option, right? That's like the CRX rule. That's why you don't have to have back seats in a CRX. So, but the onus is on the competitor to get that information to us. Am I stepping out?
And I think the other piece for me, if I was looking at it from a judging perspective, if you fold the seat down and I see you've welded a bunch of brackets in there to make it work, that's gonna be a flag to me, right? Now, if it's bolted up to the factory locations and like whatever, and like Doug said, you can prove that, that's a different story. But if it's something you welded and fabricated and tried to make this work, then that's definitely gonna flag in my mind.
Yeah, well, you got to think Spark Dead. He's part of the that's Ed Lester, right? So he's part of the mad scientists, the SPL nerds. So they know how to fabricate stuff pretty decent. If you saw our show last week, Rob Collar says yes, if it's a factory option. Like I said, the onus is on the competitor to show us that it is a factory option and that most of the cars came that way. So Rob Collar has a question here. I believe this is on the OG. Is that you, Jeffrey? You got somebody testing in the background?
Oh, you guys can hear that?
We can hear that.
Yeah.
We're not opposed to that around here. In case you didn't know.
When it happens, I'll mute my mic. But
no.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, we're not opposed to it. I mean, look at your people out here, right? Yeah. All right. So Rob Collar, he was asking about the OG class. Must seats be in it for the OG class? Somebody want to hit that? What's the rules say on that?
So I'm reading here the new OG Super Street class. OEM seats only okay to remove, but I think we did away with having to bring them to events, correct?
Right, but the mounting brackets still have to be there. You can't cover up the mounting holes and all that stuff. Right? Is that how you remember it also, Wyatte?
Yep.
I think, though, there was...
Spark Dead just ran in. Excellent information. Thank you guys very much. Let's see. Luis, while you're looking that up, Luis says, them time extensions had me sweating. So...
Yeah, we hadn't really seen time extensions when they do Top Dog here. So... to see that, it was like, wow, what's happening? And I think the explanation I gave to everyone in the inception of Top Dog, I remember Wayne had mentioned he kind of modeled it as like a video game, and I distinctly remembered he used the example of Guitar Hero to exemplify why he kind of made Top Dog. Once you hit a certain level, you get bonus time, or you're playing that video game where you're in a car race and, you hit the checkpoint, you get bonus time, So that's I think that's what intrigued him to creating Top Dog and to having that feature. And it's translating to everyone who participates in it that, hey, this is something really cool, just like a video game.
Mm-hmm. So does anybody else have any questions here? Like I said, we're here to try and help you guys out and help your let's see, what did he say? We went for a hot minute on almost all the runs. Yep. Yeah. That absolutely. And that's part of the love and the fun and whatnot of DB Drag or of Top Dog and Base Race. So Rob Collar asks again, so all Super Street classes must have seat rails and holes. They don't have to have the rails necessarily, but the factory rails have to be able to be fit back into the factory location. So you can't make custom rails for your seats. And but they have to fit back into the seat rail holes that were on the floor of your vehicle to start with.
I think what's kind of what we ran into. Am I
No,
muted?
go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Oh, kind of what we ran into was some seat rails actually extended behind the B pillar, and if you had a wall up to the B pillar, you basically lose that rail, right? Because it would have been mounted behind the B pillar. So I think that's kind of what brought us to the conclusion where, okay, you didn't have to have your seats, you didn't have to bring your seats to the events anymore, um, for that reason, or one of the reasons.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
Mhm.
The big thing, I threw it just in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Just the blurb on the Super Street.
You want to read that up, what you just put in there?
Yeah, so the seat specifically, right? It says OEM seats only, okay to remove during competition. So, the big thing is in the other Super Street vehicles, if you have you have a racing seat, right? You go to Summit Racing and you buy a plastic seat, like whatever, right? Because they're not required. But for the OG 10K, we're saying, okay, well, the OEM seats, that's more what we're looking for, right? So.
Yep. It says, just so the rest of this thing here is, must have the following requirements: no floor cuts, maximum of a 1/4 inch sound dampening material, single windshield, no undercarriage build downs, factory headliner required, OEM seats only, okay to remove during competition, side windows must function normally, driver and passenger airbags required. So that is one of the things that's going to really get with people. And as Wayne explained, the idea behind that is we're not looking to have a $200 Datsun mini truck enter the OG class, right? We're looking for somebody with a brand new MDX and wants to compete, or a newer vehicle. That's the idea. We want to drive it forward with cars you're not going to go buy at a junkyard. So that's really what we're looking for on that. So I'm not seeing any other questions right now, and I do realize it's the slow time of the year, but it's going to start picking up here pretty soon. This is your guys' opportunity as competitors in the downtime. You can ask us questions and whatnot, but we are going to move forward on doing shows coming up here in April and May. I think you're going to get out in late April, right, Wyatte? You think is when you're going to probably get your first opportunity?
Yeah, probably early May, right before Mother's Day.
Okay.
Yeah, last year we did a show right on that last weekend in April, and it was 40 degrees and raining. In our venues at a park right next to a lake, so everyone was frozen solid by the end of the day. So we're hoping by kicking it back a week or two, we might get a little luckier with the weather. So I mean, we still had a pretty good turnout, but no one likes to be standing out there watching the runs in the freezing cold either. So
yeah. Rob Caller asked real quick, what if your vehicle doesn't have airbags? Then it does not qualify for the OG 10K class. It's that simple. So, that's just one of the requirements for the class. Doesn't mean you can't compete. It just means you can't compete in that class. Right? As we say all the time.
Right.
But yeah, we're going to look forward to this. Since Wyatt's just hanging out doing nothing for the next couple of months, but we are definitely talking as judges. For you people that don't know, we still talk as judges outside of the season to try and be better at our craft. Rob Caller, he's always welcome to join in the conversation with us anytime he wants. He can give me a call, give Jeffrey a call, whatever. But we do talk outside to try and better our crafts. Like I said, Rob's been to so many shows throughout his career. He should be able to put on a great show, which I'm sure is the same thing with Gregory out in Tennessee. I'm sure he puts on a great show too, just for that reason of coming from a competitor standpoint. Let's see here. Shane says, what if the OEM seats are swapped for another OEM seat? It has to be the OEM seats, not necessarily the ones that came with that vehicle, but it have to be the ones made for that type of vehicle. If that makes sense, and hopefully that helps you guys answer. Thanks again. Heading back to work, says Smiley Watts. So he was playing hooky from work, listening to us. That's cool. We like people playing hooky. Hey, we're gonna work on a couple things. Jeffrey and I were talking about. Like I said, I just got back from a funeral this morning, so it's been a little hectic. So we haven't had time to set it up, but we're thinking of giving away, if you guys can see this, the DB Drag World Finals hat that I have. So it's the 25th anniversary hat. And then Jeffrey has a CD and another float frisbee that we're going to raffle off. We'll probably work on it next week. We'll set it up. But what we're going to do is we're going to make it so we're going to give that away when we hit 500 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So we'll set it up, and you guys just sign up per I'll put a link or whatever in all of our podcasts until we hit 500 subscribers. We're at 370, so I mean we don't need very many more. We need 125 or 127 or something like that, and we'll hit our 500 subscribers on YouTube. Ultimate goal is we need to hit 1,000 for YouTube, which would be really, really cool. But like I said, that's the cool stuff we got going on. Jeffrey and I are working on some other stuff behind the scenes. So once we hit 500, we're going to try and get a much bigger, nicer prize to give away for the 1,000 subscriber mark. So, and we'll continue with this throughout the season. This way it gives opportunity for competitors and other people to ask questions and meet their judges more on a face-to-face, basis. I think this is good for our organization and good for the betterment of car audio, us doing this as judges. Anyway, next weekend I am going to go down to LA to get some lessons on how to be a better bowler, even though I am averaging like 251 for the last like 20 something games I bowled. I'm kind of bowling good right now, just saying. And I'm going to go get some lessons with a pro guy. And then the following weekend, I am going to be hanging out with Moses Friday night doing my 3X. Looks like I'm going to stay over his house. I don't know if he's told you yet or not, Rosa. But yeah, I'm going to stay over his house because first thing in the morning on Saturday, I'm going to bowl my first professional event as a senior citizen. So...
Yeah, that's what 50 years
and over. Yeah, PBA 50
and over.
Yep. So I'm gonna bowl my first event as a PBA 50 member, and then like I said, we'll do the 3X the night before, and then do the PBA 50 in the morning, and see how that goes. Then we're gonna kick off our season. So, Rosa says, "Yeah, he warned me." I don't deal with the devil's cabbage, though. Just saying.
What?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go and work on taking some old people's money again tonight over at the bowling alley. I've been pretty good at that lately. I made if the IRS is listening to this, this is for dramatic effect only. But I may have made a few $1,000s in the last 2 or 3 weeks bowling.
Oh.
But this is only for dramatic effect. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, you'd have to like fill out all these forms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So obviously that's for dramatic effect only. All right, Wyatte, you got anything new coming up? I mean, I got my wedding one coming up. I got all this stuff coming up, and you're just gonna sit and freeze your balls off, huh?
No.
Pretty much, yeah. No, nothing right now. Just trying to line up shows. So.
Okay. What's your goal for shows this year? How many?
Hoping to have one basically every other weekend, starting in May. I know some of the guys in Michigan reached out. Hopefully do a show up there sometime in September for sure. I got to reach out to those guys again, but Yeah, kind of shooting for every other weekend till points cut off, right? So once
Right.
finals is
Mhm.
announced and we kind of see what points cut off is going to be, that'll kind of help determine, those last weekends for everyone. So,
So you're looking about 14 shows roughly?
no,
No?
no, it'll be like 10, probably eight
Okay.
to 10,
All
hopefully.
right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
do a few more than that. Jeffrey's doing a few more than that. All right, Jeffrey.
Well,
When?
Wyatt, so if it's maybe a listener, viewer, it's their first time,
Oh yeah.
um, you know, chiming in, and can you let our listeners know what technically what your territories would be, and where
How
to
they would get a hold of you and
get a
yeah.
hold of you?
Yeah, so Facebook, I do have a page. I tend to post in our Wisconsin car audio
Wisconsin.
group as well. Once I start getting the schedule, um, the past couple of years I really haven't gone much outside of Wisconsin, Michigan.
Mhm.
I'll go if someone has leads on some areas, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois. I know someone had reached out to me about something in Illinois potentially. It just really depends on what we have for venues and stuff like that for availability. So if anyone has anything like that, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
And being a multi-point judge, Wyatt is totally what they call turnkey.
Mhm.
So essentially, you just provide him with a location, maybe even a place to plug in, and he said, I mean, he'll. Do you provide your own awards as well, Wyatt?
Yeah, it usually depends on what they want to do. So
Okay.
either I'll get some awards made ahead of time. Otherwise, if they
Mm-hmm.
have awards that they're looking to have, or some of the guys have shops, so they want to do something out of scrap. I had one guy do some out of scrap MDF, do some trophies out of that, and paint them, and
Yeah.
do whatever. So
So
yeah,
that's
kind of.
what we mean by turnkey. You'll just like what Celise had say, just provide us a spot, a place to plug in, and we could take it from there. You could have maybe the shop employees maybe run some traffic to the lanes, but pretty much that's it. Just give us a spot and a place to plug in, and we'll make it
Couple of
happen.
trash cans and we're good.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe
Maybe
a
a
porta potty,
bathroom.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Right,
Yeah.
right.
All right. All right, Jeffrey. So we got some stuff coming up for you. You got your
Yep.
3X. What else you got?
Yeah, so April 1st, it's gonna be a Saturday.
Yeah.
And there's a Facebook event uh, page for it. Uh, one of the guys who had put it up mistakenly put 9 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. So everybody came on there, was like, is this an April Fool joke? Is this an April Fool joke? Because it says 9 p.m. But he was able to change it. We're working on getting an official flyer for it. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a multi-point event. It's going to be at an industrial area in Bloomington. So we're hoping that we're going to have demos all day, and hopefully not nobody stop it, or nobody calls the cops. So
Right.
it's in a cul-de-sac as well. So we're really hoping that this location takes off, because if it does, we're going to be having multiple events at the same location, and hope it all works out. So if you guys are in the SoCal area around April 1st weekend, come check out the show. You can look at the details and stuff on dbdragracing.com on the calendar, and hope to see you guys there.
Yep. Tristan from Bridgetown, Barbados just popped in. Hey, listen back, Tristan. We were giving you props on your show, and you helping trying to promote the sport out in your little corner of the world. So go ahead and listen back, please, and check out what we had to say. Remember, we got the wedding show coming up April 9th, which is actually Easter Sunday. I just found out from my wife, which kind of sucks. But the DB Draggers I know, I don't think that matters a whole bunch. Just saying. But it will be Easter Sunday, April 9th. That's we're going to do a wedding renewal, vows renewal at Nyman Shop. So, and we're going to do it in the afternoon. So you'll be able to do your Easter Sunday service, go have Sunday lunch with your family, and then come out and do the show. So all that, we are making it that available. After brackets, we will stop and we will have them do their vows right in front of the camera and in front of all of us.
That's cool.
So that'll be kind of cool. They asked me to officiate it, so I appreciate them asking me to do that. Once again, hey guys, check out dbdragracing.com to hit the calendar, and you can see all the events. If you have a location that you're at and you need help, here's 3 of the turnkey judges right here. You also have Jeremy Kramer, you have Chet, you have Ray Choy, I believe.
But Andy up in the Northwest.
Mario says it's April Fool's, huh? That's the 9 p.m. part of it. No.
It was a mistake. We corrected it.
Yeah. And Rosa says, Lord, forgive us base heads. But anyway, yeah, so we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. The season's getting ready to kick off. I can't wait to get it going. I just put new tires on my trailer because I got to do that often.
Oh, there you go.
Eventually, I'm going to have to meet up Jeffrey with my sister. He's probably already met her a few times on set.
Probably.
Because she's done like Project Runway and all kinds of those shows. So
She's probably done my makeup.
she may have done your makeup. So because he needs that.
Yeah.
But hey, Wyatt, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for helping us out. We're going to do this again next month, the second Monday of the month. I don't know, whatever that is, probably like the 10th or something. Whatever the second Monday is. I see Jeffrey looking it up.
Yeah. Wow. 10th. Yeah.
Okay, so the 10th of April is when we'll be out here again.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't get your questions asked, or if you know of a friend or somebody that's kind of wanting to get some clarification on a couple of things, let them know. We're doing a rules podcast every second Monday of the month.
That's correct. And then remember, I'll try and set it up next week so we can give away this hat. That's DB Drag World Finals hat. It's all embroidered, really nice hat, trucker style on the back.
Yeah.
So, and then Jeffrey has the float frisbee and the CD to give away.
CD.
Yep. And then we're going to start working on some backpacks and whatnot also that are DB Drag branded. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in this week. Thank you, Wyatt, for making the time to be with us. Jeffrey, thank you as always. I got to go take some old people's money again because I'm getting pretty good at that. You know, I'm going after all their Social Security checks and stuff.
No, you're gonna make them homeless.
I am.
No.
Once again, thanks to Crossfire Car Audio, Puns Customs for sponsoring us and being part of this show. We will see you guys next week, 5:30 California time, the only time that matters. We are out. See ya.